chronology of the life of Howard Marryat. This was a really interesting journey for me. I joined Marryat and Scott just at the time when Connie was coming onto the scene. So it was the KMS days. So this paper presents the life of Howard Marryat, 1871 to 1944, who founded Marryat and Place at the age of 20, would you believe, and subsequently Marryat and Scott in 1919, which went on to become one of the most successful lift companies in the world. He was also a founding partner with Dewhurst. That wasn't planned at all. His work rate and charitable giving was phenomenal, and this paper will demonstrate how his surname became synonymous with the lift industry. So, this is Howard's birth certificate. He's born on the 26th of August 1871 in Elham, a village in the district of Folkestone and Hythe in Kent. His parents were Charles and Jessie Marryat, née Drury, and from his birth certificate, although the family believed that Charles never married her and that Howard was an illegitimate son. It seems that Jessie was something of a mystery. She's missing from the census of 1871 when Howard was born, and there's no evidence of a marriage other than the birth certificate where her surname is listed as Marryat with 2 T's, formerly known as Drury. For some unknown reason, she had several aliases, but Mutum is probably her real surname. Mant was also a surname she used as well. The Mutums fell upon really hard times financially, and this may be the reason for the different names used by the family. The matter was never discussed in the Marryat family, and there's no evidence linking Jessie with a Charles Marryat, but Howard's son Robert recalled a conversation with Howard in which it was made clear his father was a Marryat. This paper's been put together with the help of Stephen Harrison, who is actually Howard's grandson. As a young man, Howard was a keen swimmer and cyclist, and he once walked from Richmond to Exeter and back, accompanied by his dog. Richmond, it seems, provided the right environment where outdoor pursuits could be enjoyed, yet all the benefits of the capital were within easy reach. In 1886, at the age of 15, he started an apprenticeship with the Acton Electric Light and General Engineering Works, founded by Captain Ronald Augustus Scott. Scott was one of the Institution of Electrical Engineers, IEE, now IET, Victorian members, and it's suspected that he was very influential in mentoring Howard to join such organisations and indeed promote and work tirelessly for them. Formed and owning the company, Scott's work during the latter years of the 19th century were at the forefront of technology, supplying arc searchlights, generators and switchboards for military and naval use. He later diversified into the novel field of projection of advertisements onto the sides of buildings. Sounds crazy now, doesn't it? Unfortunately, he became insolvent and the business collapsed. Howard then went to Finsbury Technical College, which was, you could see here, which was formally opened on the 19th of February 1893 and is now recognised as being the first technical college in England. The college was set up as a result of the meeting of 16 of the City and Guilds London livery companies held in 1876, where it was agreed to form the City and Guilds company, and many of us have done the City and Guilds qualifications over the time. In 1926, Finsbury Technical College closed and became Imperial College. So in 1891, Howard, at the age of only 20, established the firm of Marryat and Place, who were industrial electrification and maintenance contractors. It is rumoured and requires further investigation that there was no Mr. Place, and Howard alluded to this in his application to a professional engineering institution in later years. In 1910, Marryat and Place acquired lift manufacturers Joseph Richmond and Company, who had installed a 134-foot travel hydraulic lift, believe it or not, in the Columbus Monument in Barcelona. Marryat and Place were based at 28 and 29 Hatton Garden, which you can see here, and still exists today. It's a jeweller's today. During 1926, these properties were being partially rebuilt, and the offices were relocated to number 40. Howard co-authored a book, The Romance of Hatton Garden, with Una Broadbent, and within that book there was a reference to the floor levels changing, and in the book there's a whole streetscape there. It unfolds out and goes for miles. No? That's it, got it. So sadly, 40 to 42 Hatton Garden has been demolished and replaced with this modern building here on the right. In 1930, Marryat Place was converted into a private limited company and operated alongside Marryat Scott, a company founded by Howard in 1919 and the subject of a separate chapter. So on the 5th of August 1899, at the age of 28, Howard married his cousin, Maud Mootham, in Richmond in Surrey. They remained married until his death in 1944. Marrying a cousin was quite common in those days, and Howard knew the implications of what he was doing. Howard and Maud had 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys, these being Cecily, John, Robert and Mary. In the 1911 census, he is listed as an electrical engineer and married to Maud, with children Mary, Cecily, John and Robert. The Mary Cecily must have been a child known as Cecily, as Mary wasn't born until 1915. And they actually lived in Chiswick. So in December 1915, his daughter Mary Marryat, who became Mary Kent Harrison, was born and subsequently became an artist. In fact, at the Royal Academy, she's been listed. Howard's life was not without pain, and his beloved eldest daughter Cecily had a tragic early death from Hodgkin's disease, having been born in 1903 in Hammersmith and passing away in 1935, at just 32. She's buried in Petersham in the same grave as her mother and father, in fact. In 1903, at the age of 32, he founded the Electrical Contractor magazine, a publication that became the official journal of the Electrical Contractors Association. 1904, Marryat was his work rate was just absolutely incredible, and he worked in any cause that would benefit the workers. So in 1905, he joined the Royal Institution as an associate member, and we've seen recent articles in Lift Industry News about the Royal Institution. And at 1912, at the age of 41, he founded his own in-house magazine called the Engineering Gazette. So at the age of 46, he became a member of the IMEC-E, being proposed by Mr. James Garrett from Singapore and an Arthur Patey from London. Then in 1919, I've said before, at the age of 48, that he set up Marryat Scott. It was formed by Howard Marryat and Murray D. Scott. Little is known of Murray Scott. He's not linked to the Scott that Howard did his apprenticeship under. But NARM, National Association of Lift Makers, the forerunner to Lear, was formed in 1932, and Marryat and Scott were founder members. In 1934, Marryat, Scott and Fletcher formed John Benny & Co., again a name we know, that acquired the lift business off him in 27. In 1950, a private company was incorporated to acquire Marryat and Scott, which also brought in the John Benny Company. And then in 1979, which is roughly when I came into the industry, Connie then purchased Marryat and Scott as their way in, actually, to join in what was then NARM. So 1919 was a busy year for Howard. Dewhurst and Partner. So note the singular, partner. Yeah. So Howard joined the Dewhurst family in setting up Dewhurst and Partner, but they didn't want his name associated with it because he'd had a business go wrong the previous year, and so he was just referred to as partner. So the nominal share value of Dewhurst and Partner was £5,000, which was calculated at $379,000 in 2024. So quite a significant company in its day. So in 1923, Howard and Maud moved to a place called the Terrace on Richmond Hill. And during my research, I actually contacted the guy that now owns this building. It's really interesting. And he's still got the original Aga in there and everything. It's quite interesting. And there's a picture of him with his daughter, the artist Mary Kent. So In 1924, Howard presented a paper to the Institution of Electrical Engineers that included a more substantive glimpse into the lift industry, and it was approached to traffic analysis. Would you believe? And he, and he created this slide rule. There is one apparently in the Science Museum, yeah, but I've not seen this. I'm looking forward to going and have a look. So he was very instrumental in early traffic analysis. So in 1936, he received the Freedom of the City of London and took delivery of the Worshipful Company of Clockmakers. He absolutely adored watches and clocks, and so published this book, which you believe about watches, which is apparently in Watch World is a real good read. So now getting to a little spooky bit really. So Howard Marryat died on the 22nd of June 1944 at the age of 72. He was on his way from London to attending a meeting in Exeter, where he was giving a paper on the standardisation of motor dimensions. According to reports, he suffered a heart attack at Waterloo Station, and his death certificate cites the cause of death as cardiac failure due to arteriosclerotic hypertension, so blood pressure basically. And he died in the ambulance on the way to St Thomas's Hospital. He's buried in St Peter's Church in this very unassuming grave with his wife and daughter. Where this now becomes interesting is the philanthropy of this guy, right? So he actually funded a lifeboat called the Howard Marryat, which saw active service mostly around North Wales. But the legacy of this lifeboat is really, really interesting. It saved hundreds and hundreds of lives in its time. And this is a picture here. This is Morphra lifeboat station. And what was really scary during this research, you could see the red box up the top there, and you could see a picture on left there with the red box that's taken from the bedroom of that house, which is actually my father-in-law's house in Anglesey. How spooky is that? So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Howard Marryat.